Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be working on my 174 oscillating federal signal beacon. Now pretty much what you see is all I got. I picked this up at a swap meet probably about a year or so ago, and I was asking the gentleman some questions on it as far as like, if he had the skirt for it, and I also noticed that the motor was missing. He pretty much said he had no information on that because this is the way he picked it up. He got it because he was going to fix it up one day and he never got around to do anything. He got tired of looking at it, so he decided to sell it. So I went ahead and got it for, one, I got it for a good price. Two, I like the fact that it has a glass dome on it. The glass domes are kind of getting harder to find, especially in really good condition like this. I mean, there's a few minor scratches, but nothing major. And three, I don't have an oscillating beacon in my collection, so I thought it'd be a really cool thing to put in my collection. In today's video, pretty much what I want to do is I want to build a wood base for it to actually sit on. So this way it actually has something a little more solid than this little styrofoam that's sitting on, and generating a skirt. So essentially, stick around and watch me take the stainless steel water food dish for pets and turn it into this right here with a lower base and a tag on it. I hope you stick around and check this video out. All right, so what pretty much kicked this particular build off is I've had this light now for a little over a year, and I have gone online a few times over the year and trying to find a skirt, and I haven't really found one that was decently priced for the condition I was in. I think the cheapest one I come across was about 40, almost 50 bucks after shipping. But I was going to have to put a bunch of time into it to try to make it look somewhat decent. And anybody that kind of follows my channel knows that I like to take ordinary items and turn them into other stuff outside of their original intended use, I guess you can say. So I figured this was a perfect build for like this particular situation. So I started putting a little bit of time into it, thinking I was like, well, what can I use to do this? So I started off by creating a template using the dome, making it a little bit bigger. And I started thinking what could possibly work. So I started thinking anything that was metal, preferably stainless steel, with a little bit of a bell shape would pretty much work. So yeah, now you're thinking buckets, maybe some pots for plants, maybe even certain cookware would probably work. So I started searching around, going to a bunch of stores, my template, and checking. I was kind of striking out everywhere. Either it wasn't quite the look I was going for, or it would fit, but it didn't have smooth sides, that kind of stuff. So in the last place I thought of was a pet store. They had like these big, huge stainless steel water food dishes for dogs. So we went in there with the template, and we found this one right here, and this one's like, you see, it's like perfect. Has a little bit of play in there. It's going to be ideal. It's a great candidate for this particular project. Not to mention this was 15 bucks. So 15 versus 50. And like I said, if I already got to put a bunch of time and work into something, I might as well just start with something from scratch, and I'm saving a bunch of money. Let me show you the logo on the back side, just in case you're in the same situation I'm in and say you want to essentially create one of these for yourself, but you can't find one of these at your local pet store. I'm sure you can Google and find it. So the first step is going to be to remove this gasket off the bottom, cover with masking tape, strike a line. I'm going to cut it just slightly smaller so I can slowly take a Dremel tool and slowly go around it so I get the best fit possible around my dome. Now I'm going to cut this lip right here off, so this way you have a nice straight cut coming off the bottom, and we'll start to see how this looks. All right, so what I'm using right here is just a piece of vacuum hose you get at any auto parts store. I think it's a 5/16. You see I just put a split in there. All I'm doing with this is I'm creating like that little gasket that would have been at the bottom of the skirt where it used to be where we meet the roof of the vehicle, whatever it was on, whether it be a patrol car, fire truck, or something like that. So it didn't scrape the paint off and all that stuff. Plus, it gives me something to finish off that nasty edge from cutting that lip off right there. One, keep me from cutting the fingers. Two, it'll dress it up, make it look a lot nicer, and kind of give it a little bit of the look that it's supposed to have, I guess you say. I did kind of pre-cut this, so this way I didn't cut more than I need to. So hopefully I cut it long enough. Just a pinch off, that'll face the back. All right, now what I wanted to do is before I built this stand right here and ordered that plate and all that stuff, I wanted to make sure this worked first. So let's go ahead and put it on and see what it looks like. There we go. So the next step is I'm going to build that little base, order the little skirt, and then we'll see what it kind of looks like when it's all done. Outside the fact that it doesn't work, but it'll look good even though it don't work. Okay, so what I'm doing to try to make it easy to make that bottom piece, I'm using that same piece of cardboard that I used for the template. I cut out a notch to fit around where the motor assembly is. Granted, I've got the motor in there, so it made it a little bit easier, but even if I had the motor, I would just, cut it out to fit in there the best I could. What it is, I just stuck the cardboard on the bottom of this, and then I used a pick tool, and I just poked right through where the holes are for the all thread, which gave me the 3 indication marks. Once I cut the board out, I'll put it on there. I'll mark where those holes need to be, drill those holes, and that'll give me the perfect placement of my all thread. Once I get all that on and get it all mounted on there, then the collar and the glass dome can go back on. I've ordered the badges to go on the front. As soon as I get here, I put that on there, and we will finish this one up. All right, so I had to make a quick modification to the bottom of that just because of this right here. Because of the height of the skirt, I'm trying to get the skirt as far down as I can. This was just touching the wood, and obviously I don't want that rubbing on there. I want it to have enough room. So I pretty much all I did, I just cut just enough out to where that will sit through that opening. Not enough to come all the way to the bottom, but just enough for a little bit of clearance, and that's all I did. And then the next step is I'm just measuring the height because I measured it when it was on that foam. And on that foam, it actually, the skirt sat all the way down perfectly. I had 3.5 inches from the table to the top. So I'll just make sure I had 3.5 inches all the way around. I'll put the second nut on there. Once I tighten it up, then I'll take my cutoff wheel, cut the excess off, make sure it's tight, and then the base is done. I'll cut the excess off of here so this way it doesn't hit. Actually, looks like it clears where I won't even have to cut it. Look at that. That is Nash. That's real Nash. Yes and no. Just touches this back one over here. Okay, I'll just cut it off. But see where I just made just enough room for that? That's all it is. But it still keeps it off the table. Now my glass dome. Only thing left now is put the 3 screws in it, tag, and it'll be done. Alright, so I got my holes drilled. Now how I figured out the holes is I end up having to pull this back off and revert back to my little template here. I just put the template on there, and you see I made reference marks of where the holes needed to be. And I just laid this down inside here, transfer the marks to the side here, And then what I did is I just measured how far it was from here to where the screw is going to go, and then measure that out, and then and drilled it. So let's go ahead and see how it fits. I got some screws laying around here somewhere there that I pulled out. I'm gonna get some pan heads for this, but for now I just had some flathead style screws. There we go. See, now we got that on there. And what I'll do is once that badge comes in, then I'll go ahead and put that badge right here. Polish this lens out just a little bit because it is a little dirty, and we'll be done. All right, so while I'm waiting for that tag to show up, I want to do one more thing, or at least attempt to do one more thing, and that's see if I can do something to polish this out a little bit. I did buy 2 of these bowls just in case I messed up on the first one. I had a second shot, and you can see. Let me see. You can see a little bit of my reflection of my hand in here, a little bit. So it actually buffed out a little bit. So you can see where it goes from here to that right there, which definitely looks much better. Now this was just with a straight 2000 grit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a 1500 to a 2000, then go to a 3000 and some compound, and see if I can actually get it to be a little bit better than this right here, on the collar. And then once that tag shows up, we'll get that tag installed, and we'll get this thing finished up. All right, so it didn't quite polish out as good as I was hoping. I've tried a few different things, from using my drill with a 3000 grit, wet sanding it by hand with a 3000 grit. I tried using some buffing compound with my drill. That wasn't working too well, so I ended up going to a bench grinder. That did a little bit better. Didn't quite come out as good as I was hoping for, but considering what I started with from this to that, it's definitely much better. And considering that all this really was a, dog dish, from the pet store, I mean, I think it's going to look pretty good, considering what it is. So as soon as that tag shows up, we'll get this put together, and we'll see the finished light. Okay, so the information tag, or the badge for the front of the light, showed up today. And overall, I'm pretty happy with it. What it is, I went just on eBay and just typed in Federal Signal badges, and a whole bunch of these come up. There's a gentleman out there that makes reproductions, so they're brand new. He put any information on that you want. He actually messaged me and asked me if I had anything specific, like as far as the serial number. But since I don't have the motor and I couldn't find any other markings on the chassis, I didn't have a serial number, so I just told him just put something generic on there. But if, say, you were working on a light, and obviously you had your collar and you had your badge, and it's all wore out really bad, and you wanted something new because you're doing a full restoration, he can essentially put on there all the information that you want. Let me get it up close real fast, kind of show it to you. I said it looks really nice. You can see the 174, the 12 volt DC. I say just put a generic serial number on there, but it has all the information on there. Looks pretty much just like the original, which is really nice. It also comes with screws, so that's also really cool. I actually bought screws, but I guess I don't need them now, so that's kind of nice. And if here's the business card, so if you want to, screenshot, save this information, like I said, it looks like you can contact him by phone or email him with any questions. If you say you want to get one and you're looking to find something specific, I'm sure he can make it for you. But other than that, let's go ahead and start working on getting this on. The only thing I got to do is, you can see it's pretty flat, so I have to put a little bit of curve into it so it matches the curve of the base here. Once I get that on, I'm going to drill a couple holes in it. We're going to get this screwed on, and we're going to see what it looks like all done. All right, so here we go. It's all done for now. At least this portion. Eventually, I'll come across the motor, put the motor in there, get some bulbs for it. We'll get this thing working. But for now, I just wanted to definitely get the base on there and make it kind of look somewhat, normal. So I think I'm pretty happy with it. I like the way it came out, considering what I ended up using to achieve this. Leave me a comment on what y'all think. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button for me. Thanks for watching.